To end off the summer movie season, we have a brand new science fiction horror film from Blumhouse, and it might be one of the most hilariously bad movies of 2024. Afraid is written and directed by Chris Weitz, as the film stars John Cho and Kate Watterson. So I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I was actually very excited to check this film out, as this movie looks so hilariously bad. And the whole idea of this movie is actually interesting, especially with the rise of AI and how mainstream it has become entering into the film and television and video game industry. It has become a major topic in the 2020s. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this movie was hilariously terrible. And one of the biggest reasons for it, I don't really know what the director Chris Weitz was really going for with this film, because this film feels like it's targeting teenagers because it is a PG-13 horror film. Then there's so much in this film that feels like it was made by someone who doesn't know anything about AI. This version of AI is supposed to be very advanced and something we haven't seen before, and it's doing things that, ooh, this could be scary if this were to actually happen. So let's just dive right into the negatives first. And I do have to start with the screenplay. I truly believe that this film was written by AI. I know it says it's written by the director Chris Weitz, but I'm gonna be honest with you, with everything that the CEO of Sony said about how they're going to be using AI to cut the cost down on their films, if a movie was distributed by Sony, I wouldn't be surprised if AI was found out to be involved in the writing of the script of this film. And I'm not just saying that because this movie is about AI, but it's because the dialogue of this movie is so bad and so awkward. The characters in this movie don't talk like human beings. And add that to a really bad direction, it feels like a really uncomfortable, weird movie. It just feels like there's just different story threads, like this could have been like a television show, but instead you pack all these different things into one movie, and it just becomes so ridiculous, especially a moment that you see in the trailer that involves a car accident happens in this movie, and then they just go right into another scene like nothing happened. They don't bring it back up again like it didn't matter. You think this movie would be a little bit more grounded, because that's why this movie is trying to be scary, but the AI isn't scary. And that kind of gets into my next point. I don't think this movie was supposed to be a horror film, and the biggest reason for this is because there are no indications of it trying to be horror. There's none of that buildup or your typical Blumhouse formula that you expect. A lot of things that horror film fans really enjoy. Most of this movie is just a film about AI. Like, it feels just like a drama movie. And then they just throw horror elements in there where there's a twist at the end of the movie that's supposed to make it like really scary and like, ooh, what can AI really do? And it's just so ridiculous and hilariously terrible. So if you're a horror movie fan and you want to be scared, you're not going to get that with this movie. Now let's talk about the performances here, as John Cho and Kate Watterson are fantastic. They have been in some really good movies. They just look clueless in this film. I mean, they have no chemistry together. They don't look like they know what they're doing, because there is a terrible lack of direction in this film. And there's also one other actor that I really enjoy that I won't say just because I don't think he was in the trailers for this movie, but even him, he's a really good actor, and he wasn't really given a whole lot to do in this movie. And then we gotta talk about the child performances in this movie, which are absolutely terrible. And that is the fault of the director. They're supposed to get the best performances out of them. I mean, they were just really awful. They were bad in every single scene. If every single performance in a movie is really, really bad, then I gotta blame the director here. And that's easily the biggest problem with this movie, is the direction of this film. The shots in this movie are really boring and stale. The cinematography is terrible. Almost every single scene in this film is just characters just stand around and talk in a room. The children in this movie are like always sitting down. No one's really doing anything. This movie just felt so cheap. For a movie that's $12 million, you expect a little better looking film, because it's not a $1 million movie. It's got some money, but it looks so bad, especially when The Invisible Man, that was also made by Blumhouse, was made for a cheaper budget. How is that even possible? Even the sound design in this movie is terrible, where everything just sounds so fake, and especially all the jump scare noises are so hilariously terrible. And there are moments where the AI makes some weird noises that just sound so fake. And if I'm going to give a single positive for this film, it's merely for the fact that you can watch this movie and you can understand what is going on. This may not seem like a positive. I have seen some films where I genuinely don't even know what's going on, and it's not an art house film. I genuinely don't know what's going on, and at least you can know what's going on with every single character. It has a very simple linear structure. It does everything that you expect from a major motion picture. At least it feels like this is the movie that they wanted to make. I know, I'm really trying here with this positive. So overall, Afraid is one of the worst movies of 2024 that is so hilariously terrible, with horrible performances all around, horrendous editing and terrible cinematography, and one of the least scary horror films I have ever seen. And I don't even think the AI is scary. Like, that's why I wanted to see, but there are a lot more movies that are about AI that are way scarier than this movie, and they're not even horror films. And I don't recommend you see this movie at all, even if it's on streaming, even if there's a matinee show. And this movie would be really boring if you didn't think this movie was unintentionally hilarious. So I'm giving Afraid a 3 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for checking out this review. As I want to know below in the comment section, have you seen Afraid, and are you going to be checking it out this weekend? I would love to hear all about it. Before you guys check out this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like as you normally should, and ring that notification bell so I can see you all in a brand new video. I will see you guys at the movies.